Hello everyone, this is the most magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm back at it with another character review. And this character review is going to be on Gold Mythic Jane. And she was from the second season of Telltale's The Walking Dead. Honestly, I did enjoy that season. Maybe not quite as much as I did the first or third season, but it was still a pretty good season. It had its moments for sure. And I can tell you guys right from the bat that I wasn't a big fan of Jane. And that was before the last episode. I mean, the thing about that is, I didn't hate the character, but I wasn't that interested in the character. But after she did what she did to Kenny, I'm like, oh yeah, she can, y'all can shoot her, stab her, I don't care. Like, yeah, after she did what she did to Kenny, having him think that AJ died when she had left him in a freezing car nearby, yeah, that's screwed up. I'm like, yeah, okay, Kenny, take it away. She's all yours. I can't blame him at that point why he freaked out, because I mean that was messed up by her. That seriously was. And I'm like, okay, I don't feel like, I already wasn't interested in you. Now you're gonna have us think that AJ died. Like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna let Kenny finish you off. Yeah, for sure. There you go. That's how I feel about the character. Although I will say one good thing about Jane, she did teach Clem some survival skills. Other than that, I could not care less about this character. I'm being 100% honest. I mean, plus she did the whole, Walker Guts thing. That was one of the survival skills that I had mentioned. And also, when they are alone, Jane and Clem, she teaches Clem to kick the back of the walker's knees in order to take them down easily. Other than the Walker Guts trick and then kicking the back of their knees, other than those two things, I could care less about the character, to be honest. And yeah, it rained in my area, so y'all might be seeing that a lot through this video, but hopefully not. Before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. I'm doing alright, and I'm staying safe for the most part. And I don't think we should waste any more time. I think we should go ahead and jump into this character review, shall we? Jane, Telltale. Her trait is fast, her role is a tank, and her allegiance is a member of the Telltale. Alright, let's take a look at her stats. Her attack stat is 11,479. Her defense is 28,699. And her HP is 17,220. Now let's take a look at her adrenaline rush. Skewers Reprise. The recharge rate is 55 AP, so that's a little bit faster than most gold mythics. Deal 10% of this fighter's max HP as damage to 2 enemies. This fighter gets 100% bonus HP and heals for 50% of their max HP. So this is a pretty good adrenaline rush. The fact that she's dealing 10% of her max HP as damage, although wouldn't it have made more sense instead of her dealing the 10% of her max HP as damage, how about 10% of her defense as damage to 2 enemies? But I believe, doesn't Clem or Krista kind of already do that? No, maybe not. Maybe they don't. But I would have just switched that around from the 10% of her max HP doing the damage to the defense. 10% of her defense doing the damage. That's the way I would have went about that. But other than that, that's, you potentially could get that HP number up really high. I mean, it's not the lowest, but it's definitely way behind the defense. And she does have a certain specialist skill as to why I can see why her defense is so high, which we will talk about. But yeah, her dealing 10% of her max HP as damage, it's alright, but I would have switched it over to her defense doing that damage instead. But it's not terrible. Now, she's also going to be getting 100% bonus HP, plus she's going to be healing for 50% of her max HP, which that's going to be really good. And honestly, that'll be pretty frustrating, I'm sure, to come up against. Now, I haven't seen Jane on raids or nothing like that yet, but honestly, I don't think she's a bad toon. That's going to be nice for her to be able to get that bonus HP all the way, and plus she's going to be healing for a lot of HP. That's going to be really nice if it's on your side, and that's going to be frustrating if you're coming up against it. But, if you have Krista, and if you pulled for the new Clem, Jane would fit really well, I think, in that team already. Because, like I said, just be on the lookout. There will be more defensive Telltale toons. And here we go. We have a third one already. So yeah, I think her Adrenaline Rush is actually very decent. Pretty good so far. So let's take a look at her signature move, Batum. The initial cooldown is turn 1. 2 turns for the cooldown, and number of uses unlimited. If the target has a higher attack stat than this fighter, 2 enemies get attack up block for 2 turns. While battling on the defense team, taunt those enemies for 2 turns. Okay, so let's start it off. Obviously, if the target that you are targeting has a higher attack stat than her, which 100% of the time is definitely going to be very likely, then those 2 enemies get attack up block, which, I mean, I don't really have a big problem with attack up block. There's other things that I have bigger concerns about, but I mean, for some people that might be a issue for sure, and they're going to get that for 2 turns, which I think that's going to be really nice. But if she's battling on the defense, those 2 enemies are not only going to get the attack up block, but they're also going to be taunted for 2 turns, which being taunted is definitely not going to be good, for sure. That's one of the issues I kind of run into. But, like I say, more than likely, the enemy is going to have a higher attack stat. I probably would say 99.9% of the time is always going to have a higher attack stat than Jane. Because, I mean, honestly, who's going to worry about getting their attack up on Jane? You know what I mean? She's not that type of toon. She's a defensive heavy toon for sure. So I like the Adrenaline Rush and the signature move for sure. Now, let's take a look at her mythic abilities. Strength, 40% critical hit resistance. Don't need to really take any time into it. All of these tank characters, that would be worth leveling up all the way if you can, for sure. Get prepped. At the start of each wave and turn, deal 1 damage to this fighter. This fighter also gets 100% defense for 2 turns. So, hold on. Timeout. Timeout. Hold on. Am I reading that right? Okay. Get prepped. At the start of each wave and turn, deal 1 damage to this fighter. This fighter also gets 100% defense for 2 turns. Okay, so I'm not understanding the deal 1 damage part to this fighter. And it's going to be for every turn. But I guess because of the certain specialist skill, I guess that would not be that it wouldn't be that damaging to this character. Plus she's getting 100% defense for 2 turns. That's actually very nice. I do like that, but the 1 damage bit I'm a little confused on, but maybe that goes together with her specialist skill. I'm pretty sure it would, and it wouldn't be that damaging to her. So looking at it from that perspective, it might be worth leveling up, honestly, just thinking about it, because I'm not like into defensive tunes all that much. So yeah, get prepped. That's kind of an interesting one. I would definitely think about leveling that one up for sure. Reel them in. When being attacked by an enemy with the taunt status effect, this fighter gets 20 AP. Okay, actually this one I would definitely level up, because based off her not her specialist skill, but her signature move, especially if she's going to be on the defense team, there's a chance that those enemies that are going to be taunted will attack her. So her getting 20 AP, that actually might be a really good thing. So I think I would go ahead and level up, reel them in for sure. That sounds like it might be very beneficial, especially on defense for sure. Superior tools. Trait mods are 40% more effective on this fighter. That's kind of interesting. Okay. That is definitely very interesting. I've never seen a mythic ability like that, or if I have, it's on an older gold mythic, but I don't think I have. I think this might be the first tune that has something to do with trait mods being a lot more effective on a certain fighter. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, there might have been a tune where trait mods were like a little bit more effective on a certain fighter before Jane. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. But if you know that answer for sure, don't hesitate to let me know, because Jane might be the first fighter to have that, and that's kind of interesting. And I would say, depending on what mods, what trait mods that you have, I would definitely consider leveling this one up for sure, because that's crazy. Those trait mods are now going to be 40% more effective on Jane. That's kind of insane if you think about it. I mean, it could have been a higher percentage, but it's better than a 0%. So, yeah, get prepped, reel them in. I really like those two. Plus superior tools. That one's an interesting one for sure. Now let's take a look at her specialist skill, Indomitable. While not stunned, whenever this fighter takes damage, they gain 30% defense until the start of their next turn, in addition to any existing defense increases, including prior activations of this skill. So, Jane is definitely a super tank, and I can see why her defense is so high. And I guess that one mythic ability, Get Prepped, is going to gel really well together with her specialist skill, which is kind of interesting. So if you are building a super tanky defensive team, you are definitely going to want to have Jane on this team for sure. So yeah, I can see why her defense is so high. It's been a long while since we had an Indomitable toon. Has Gold Mythic ever had one of these toons? I don't think we have. I could be wrong on that, but I think this might be the first ever Gold Mythic Indomitable toon. Now, if I am wrong, feel free to correct me down in the comments, but I'm thinking she might be the first one. Now, let's take a look at her weapon. Jane's Guarding Ice Pick. 40% HP, 40% defense, improved absolute defense plus slow. When being attacked, a 60% chance to reduce the damage to 0 and apply a 20% slow to the attacker for their next turn. Improved rush reduction, reduce all rush damage this fighter takes by 40%. So, did I remember her ever having an ice pick? You know what? I think she did have an ice pick in, when she was in the second season. That's probably that weapon that she was using when she was teaching Clem to kick the walkers behind their knees and stab them in the head. So, I mean, it's been a long while since I played the Telltale games, but I'm almost certain now that she did have an ice pick as her main stabbing weapon. So, or it might have just been used for walkers. I'm not entirely sure, but it might have been her main stabbing weapon altogether. But yeah, I remember her having that ice pick. Okay, so the 40% HP and 40% defense is really nice. Honestly, you could go all in on one or the other, but honestly, maybe try to mix it up. Try to give them, what would that be, 40... Well, damn, you are going to have to go a little bit higher on one of them than the other. Like, you could do 50% HP, 45% defense, or you could swap it and go the other way. Honestly, that's kind of what I would do. I would pick one over the other. I would put a little bit of upgrading toward one of them and kind of try to go 50% on one of them and go 45% on the other. Which one I would do, that's dependent on you, because I'm not interested in pulling for this character. I wouldn't have the team necessary for this character, so I kind of missed out on Clem. So, and I'm not pulling for Krista, so why would I all of a sudden get this character, you know what I mean? If I was planning for that team, to build that team, I would probably pull for her, but I'm not, so... But she's got a very nice weapon, the improved absolute defense and slow. So every time someone attacks, not only are you taking the chances of doing no damage, but plus you're going to be adding slow to yourself. That means that, your AP, instead of it being 66 AP, your AP could be going up to, what would that be, 88 or 90 for at least a turn. It's only for one turn, but if you keep attacking Jane, you can increase those turns, and that's going to be very frustrating for sure to have to come up against. So in that aspect, the absolute defense and slow is really good. So, yeah. Now, let's see. What do we have? Improved rush reduction. Reduce all rush damage this fighter takes by 40%. That one is another good one, honestly. The third one is a little bit better, but honestly, the improved rush reduction only adds to her being a super tank and very frustrating to deal with. Like I said, I've been lucky and I haven't came up against Jane yet, but I'm sure that time is coming, man. because we do have cross-region war. This is annoying. Yeah. I'm sure that time will be coming where I'm coming up against Jane, coming up in CRW, because that's coming up tomorrow. But by the time you guys get this video, it's going to be sometime Sunday, so that, you know, I will know if I've come up against any Janes by the time this video gets released. I just wanted to go ahead and get this done, and, you know, I didn't want to do it during cross-region war, so you guys will get this video sometime Sunday, but I'm recording it on Thursday, and I wanted to get it out before CRW starts for the weekend. So yeah, so I'll know by the time this video is uploaded whether if I've faced any Janes or not. At the time, I haven't, but that could change over the weekend. So yeah, like I said, I would go either 50% on her HP or 45% on her defense, or you could go 50% on her defense and 45% on her HP. But other than that, I would leave her weapon pretty much like it is, except just upgrading the health or defense. I mean, I don't know what else you could possibly add to make her weapon better. I don't think her, you know, I think her base weapon is pretty much perfect, and it's going to be really frustrating to come up against anyway. So I don't think I would add a second weapon. Not really for her. Now, obviously, you guys already know my thoughts on Jane. I kind of ranted about her, but I mean, for understandable reasons, as to she did what she did to a certain character, and yeah, if I would have pulled for Clementine and if I would have went for Krista, I would have maybe pulled for Jane, but I haven't went for the other two, so there's no need to go for this character. But I can understand why people would want to go for those characters, because they are Telltale. It's a cash grab for sure. They know what they're doing when they come out with these Telltale characters. It's a cash grab, and people are more likely to pull because it's a Telltale tune for sure. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys for today. What are your thoughts on Gold Mythic Jane? Have you pulled for her? And if you have, how many copies of her have you gotten? And how's she working out for you so far? And were you ever a fan of this character? Did you side with her over Kenny? Or did you side with Kenny over her? I would be very fascinated to know who y'all picked to side with. And you know, whatever else your thoughts are on her, let me know down in the comments. I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and for your continued support, or if you're new, welcome in for the first time. All of you are very awesome, and I thank you again. And don't forget to hit the bell and switch on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. I am Beak, and I'm gonna go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.